American Culture Shocks, Canadian Student in the USA. We've checked out this channel before, her links are in the description, as always. I think it's interesting to do the Canadian aspect because for me, like before we did these videos, obviously before like we kind of knew a lot more about like America and as such, I always presumed that Canadian life was very, very similar to American life, but there's quite a few differences. She's got some culture shocks, so let's get into it and see what she's got to say. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and leave any suggestions in the comments below. And let's see, American culture shocks.
Cheers, friends. It's a Friday afternoon and I have my Texas beer, Love Street, to start this video off. Today we are talking about the culture shocks that I experienced moving to America as a Canadian. Now my family moved here 8 years ago, so I have been visiting for quite a while and I've been kind of easing into the culture, but when I moved here full-time 8 months ago, there were still things that were really shocking that I was not expecting. Okay. Keep in mind I came from a big city, Toronto in Canada, and I moved to another big city in the US, Houston, so this is really going to be geared towards that. I'm not saying that this is everywhere in the US and everywhere in Canada, because obviously I can't speak for everywhere, but I can speak for the places that I have lived. So your experience may be completely different. Do not get mad at me. We can talk about it in the comment section. I'm just speaking from my own experience, okay? All right, let's get started. Everything is bigger here. I don't know if this is because I'm in Texas and you know everything is bigger in Texas, but in general everything is bigger. So portion sizes in restaurants, stores are always bigger, houses are always bigger, like everything has a big walk-in closet and double vanities and stuff like that. Everything is...
This is something that we're jealous of, I feel like, in the UK. That lighting is so bad. Wait, I'm going to try to fix the lighting. The sun is actually shining on a beautiful Saturday, so let me try and fix that lighting. I'll be back in a sec. There we go, that's better. I had to block out the sun, unfortunately. First sun on a weekend in ages, and I've had to block it out, but yeah, that's better. I think I was saying, you guys have it so much, like, better, I guess, in some ways. Like, you have America's so big compared to the UK, and I guess compared to Canada in terms of, like, the habitable parts of Canada, the bits that people can actually live in. Yeah, you've got so much more space, so you've got so many rooms that we don't have, because you have the land space.
It's just so much bigger, I find, and I'm not really sure why. The service industry here is so good. I mean, everyone is so good at their job here. I'll take a sip of my pop and I already have a server that's filling it up. It's so great. And also I feel like in Canada, people who work in things like fast food generally are teenagers who do not want to be there, and they make it known that they don't want to be there. Whereas here, those types of people are so enthusiastic and so helpful, and I'm not sure if it's just they're just peppier in general or their boss is forcing them to be like that. I don't really know what it is, but I just feel like the customer service is faster and way better here, which kind of also explains when you think of when Americans go to other countries and things are maybe done a little bit different, that kind of stereotype of why Americans are pushy or demanding when it comes to being in restaurants and stuff like that. It's probably just because they're used to the service that's here, which is way better than any other country I've been to. Everything's pretty political here, which I try to stay out of because I don't know a lot about politics, especially American politics. I'm not used to having to have an opinion, but here, regardless of what you do or who you are, you have an opinion about something and everybody follows it. So I just stay out of that. Also,
yeah, we kind of know that from doing these videos, that politics is a big part of the USA. I feel like we're kind of similar in a way that we don't really have an opinion because it doesn't concern us. Like, we don't need to have an opinion, I guess. I don't even care about the UK politics, so yeah.
Everyone is super religious here. This is probably also a southern thing. Of course there's religious people in Canada as well, but I've just come to learn that the vast majority of people here in Texas are religious, to the point that you can't buy liquor in the store on a Sunday, and people take the holidays really seriously. There's just a lot more of that religious stuff going on here. People go all out for celebrations here. It doesn't matter.
This is something we have noticed for Halloween, Christmas. It doesn't matter what. You guys have got parades, you've got the decorations, you've got the festivals. I wish the UK did this more because, yeah, I'm really jealous that you guys do this. I wish the UK did this.
What the holiday or celebration is, if you can celebrate it, they're gonna go all out for it. So Thanksgiving, we get an entire week for it. The 4th of July is insane. Prom or anything that has to do with schools, people will go absolutely crazy, decorating their houses, like buying all this stuff, having these huge massive parties. I kind of like it. It's sort of charming, and it's like, if you have the opportunity to celebrate, then why not? We all know that there are a lot of word differences between Canada and the US, so just like the spelling of things and then the word choices that we use. I knew about these before, but I still had
to... So Canada is the same as us? They spell the same as us. Wow, I never knew that.
I changed my computer over to an American keyboard because there are a lot more than what I thought, and I often forget about them. So sometimes I'll say things in class and people will legitimately laugh at me because it's just different. They still get what I mean, of course, but it's just different things that I just had no idea about. There are actually people who dress up as cowboys, like non-ironically, like with the cowboy hat and the cowboy boots and everything. They wear that on a regular basis. Definitely a Southern thing, I think.
We noticed that in Texas. We definitely noticed that.
People in America are very direct and honest, so they will tell you their whole entire life story the second that you meet them. I actually, as somebody who is also very honest and open, I like this quality about it because I feel like I've finally found people that are just like me in that sense. But I can understand why people in other countries may think that some Americans are rude. It's just because they're just open and direct and they say exactly how they feel, which is something that I really like about Americans. I have to drive everywhere, which is something that I'm really not used to. Keep in mind, I do come from Toronto, which is a very walkable city. So the city's built more up, whereas Houston is built more out, so we do have to drive everywhere, which is nice because there are always parking spots for everything, but sometimes I wish I could walk. Obviously there are some places in the US where it's very walkable as well. I just am not living in one, so that's not my experience. But that was a pretty big culture shock to have to accept the fact that if I want to go somewhere, I gotta get in my car and drive every time. There is a big
we did a little bit of walking, like we managed to walk around like San Antonio a little bit, but we majority did driving. Like we drove in LA, we drove in Austin, we took public transport in San Francisco. It was a lot of driving, and like especially in LA, which I've heard before that the traffic is bad in LA. We spent a lot of time in the car in LA, a lot of time. For a journey for what should have been like 20 minutes was like an hour. If you asked Justin in Discord, we were going to meet him. We were like, oh, we're 20 minutes away on the map. It took us like an hour and 20 to get to him from Hollywood to Santa Monica Pier. But yeah, we spent a lot of time in the car, but it was a nice experience being in the car in America.
Hierarchy thing here in the United States. I don't know if it's because there are so many more people that everyone's competing or everyone is just super respectful. Like, I don't know what it is, but here everyone gets called ma'am or sir, regardless of what their age is. The amount of times that I've been called ma'am and it has just thrown me off by people that are older than me. I don't get it. In Canada, if you call someone ma'am, oftentimes they'll be offended because they think that you're calling them old. So I don't think I've ever actually used ma'am or sir before in my life before moving here, and now everybody does it. I was on a first name.
So we refer to our male teachers, like you can use their surname, but a lot of times people will just call them sir. We don't say ma'am though.
Basis with my professors up in Canada. So it's just very different in that sense, and that was something that I learned really fast after I called a teacher by their first name and they were not happy about it. And that's what I've experienced.
That was good. Lots of different ones. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. If there are other videos you want us to check out of hers, we can do them. Just we have to put the title in the comments because I don't think you can put links, but have a fantastic day, guys.